10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
This is going to be so much fun today. Oh, I'll tell you that. There's so much craziness and chaos going on outside these walls. But let's not let that happen over the next 2 hours. Although I can't vouch that it won't get chaotic and crazy because Scruffy's with me as the co-host today. And my very dear friend, TK Wins, is coming up in hour 2 to talk college hoops. That's right, TK Wins. He's a sports betting college hoops expert down here in the U.S. of A. And I was always looking for a way to get him on the show. And with March Madness nigh, now would be the time. Speaking of close friends, Scruffy is with me here today. And, sir, we got a lot to get to. Oh, you're spreading the covers. The word of covers today, Mitch. Is that who you're pimping yourself for today?
That's what I'm pimping myself for today.
Okay, I love it. Covers. I think I know the guys from that company. One of the 8 million betting companies out there. Okay.
Right.
Let's get down to business. Mitchell. Okay. James Reimer stopped all 16 shots he faced, backstopping the visiting Ottawa Senators to a 2-0 NHL victory over the Vancouver Canucks Monday. Hell of a stat there. He is now one of 3 goalies all time in NHL history to record a shutout with 7 different teams. James Reimer. I'll let everybody marinate on that. Tell me if you can guess the other 2. Yes. You didn't see this?
No.
This is kind of goalie nerdism thing. So everybody else, 3 goalies in NHL history have recorded a shutout with 7 different teams. Reimer joined that group last night. Who are the other 2? And Frank Nazar scored a power play goal at 2:36 of overtime to lift the Chicago Blackhawks to a 3-2 win over the visiting Utah Mammoth. Connor Bedard had 2 assists in the win. I was 2 of 5 on my picks. That sucks. Mitch, is there anything jumping out to you from Monday before we get into the real juicy stuff, if you don't mind?
James Reimer's played for 7 different teams?
He probably played for more. He's had a shutout for 7 of them. He's probably played for more. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry to play stump the Schwab.
In the NHL? No, not really.
Okay.
I don't know why LA and Columbus played an afternoon game. That was sort of odd. No, nothing really jumped out at me last night.
No, me either. Other than this Reimer stat, which is really cool. Here's us playing Stump the Schwab. Remember that back in the day? What did that air on? Score in Canada?
ESPN.
That guy was a freak. Stump the Schwab. Anyways, we got a lot of things to get to. NFL, obviously, World Baseball Classic, hoops, as I mentioned, NHL tonight. But because this opening segment goes so fast, I should get into it right now, Mitch. Have you seen the firestorm started by Patrick Maroon and then the Flames fanned by Rachel Krychak, a writer out of New York for ESPN? Have you been following this?
Is that who Rachel Krychak works for? She might be the most negative person I've ever encountered on Twitter. Like, I
Negative
don't know
Nancy?
what her deal is, but she is so negative.
Well, for those that don't know, Patrick Maroon, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, goes on overdrive yesterday on TSN and basically talks about the pressure. Yeah, were you watching? Okay, so he says in Toronto, the pressure is so high, there's 25 reporters in the room, which, to be honest, it sucked. It really does suck. And the Leafs were just through here, and I talked to their staff about it. It's bad. I'm lucky, I feel, that you and I, Mitch, don't have to deal with that. I'm sure it's bad. It just doesn't affect our life, right? And this Rachel Krychak, I'm sorry, I didn't even know who she was till today. But she retweeted the clip of Maroon talking about it, and she says, oh, my God, what'd she say? Hockey players are baby soft. Try saying that to a European soccer player. They would laugh at you. And I'm like, okay, looks up who's Rachel Krychak. I didn't know who she was till then. Did you?
Yeah. If you go back and look at some stuff, you'll find out who she is.
Well,
let's just leave it at that.
She writes about hockey for ESPN. Am I right?
I don't know if she's with ESPN. I think I want to say she might be with The Athletic. If she's with ESPN, then she's just joined them. But
I went and looked at her Twitter. There's an article that she posted to ESPN.com, and she wrote about the NHL. So I'll just say this. I was on the phone, had a wonderful chat with a hockey buddy of mine, just before we went to air, and he's like, is that not career limiting for her that she would call hockey players baby soft if she writes about them for whoever it is, ESPN or The Athletic? But beyond all that, I don't want to make this about Rachel Krishak. She's entitled to her opinion if she wants. You got to tell me, because I'm sitting here in South Florida. Is this the annual let's blame the media because the Leafs suck thing? Is that where we're at, or what's going on up there?
No, I just think that, people from TSN, Sportsnet, the Toronto media, they just want this season to end now. I know our buddy Jim Lang put out a tweet the other day. Can somebody just let me know when the season's over? And then you've got guys like Sid Seixeiro, and you know what I think of him. He just bashes on the Leafs and other Toronto teams every day. Does Toronto help themselves any? No. As Brian Hayes pointed out yesterday on Overdrive before the Maroon segment, the Leafs just sucked the other night against Tampa Bay. And who do they put out to talk after the game? Matthias Maccelli. That's not the guys that, you need some of your leadership, some of your core group to get out there and speak on behalf of that. And, the Leafs aren't helping themselves, and that just flames the fire. I don't disagree with what Patrick Maroon had to say, and I think Ryan O'Reilly, Rod, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Ryan O'Reilly said he hated his time in Toronto after he got traded there to deadline because of the pressure and the absolute stupidity that
it's really bad.
That team? Yeah.
It's really, really bad. And as we're sitting here on the Canadian hour of this show on Game Plus TV, I don't really mind talking about it. I've been in the media my whole life, and I've always had this stance. If you're going to blame the media for why you suck, then you'd better credit the media when you win, which nobody ever does.
Thanks, Danny Barrett.
Did he say that? Maybe that's where I got it from. I don't know. But
I think so.
Maybe. That's going back a long way. You're exactly right. Pinball morphed into that impersonation right there. But anyways, we have a lot of things to get to when we come back. We're just scratching the surface on this. The warm-up's brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official sponsor of the warm-up and the Quick Six Show topics, planning your next trip. Connect with Neil at uniglobecarefreetravel.com. They're the official travel partner of the RP Show. That is Neil Chark, Uniglobe Carefree Travel. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is bad. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Centre April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edge-of-your-seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
RP Show continues. By the way, coming up in hour 2, my buddy TK Wins, college hoops sports betting expert on the cusp of March Madness. Our guest appearance is brought to you by Prairie Panels. They're a Saskatchewan-based company specializing in high-quality construction panels and engineered building solutions. Check them out at prairiepanels.ca. Scruffy is with me here in the warm-up, and Mitchell, everybody's going nuts with that stat. James Reimer became just the third goalie in NHL history to record a shutout with 7 different teams. The other 2, I'll let everybody off the hook, Sean Burke and Cam Talbot.
Really?
There you go. Yes.
Jeez, I didn't think Cam Talbot played for 7 teams either.
What a time to be alive. Anyways,
right?
We'll come back. We'll come back on all the hockey and everything else in today's poll question. But, hey, we go fast. It is the warm-up. I'm looking for my kazoo. Point 2 of the Quick Six show topics. It's day 2 of NFL free agency. Let's just say, Mitch, it's on. Basically, biggest deals from Monday. Tua out in Miami. Malik Willis is in. Center Tyler Linderbaum, which was very high on everybody's free agency list, is going to the Raiders, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in the league. Mike Evans taking his talents to San Francisco on a 3-year, $60.4 million deal. What are your thoughts coming out of what Mike Florio called this morning a hectic day 1 of the legal tampering period?
Well, the Raiders that need a lot of help and have the most money to spend, they're certainly doing what they can to get back to relevance. And the signing of Tyler Linderbaum, the center, resets the center's market and basically tells you, if you didn't know already, that the Raiders will take Fernando Mendoza with the first pick. And they're building an O-line to protect this kid. And, you know, they've got Rashad Genty, who didn't have a great first year with the Raiders after coming in from Boise State. Brock Bowers is a good tight end. They also picked up, I think, a receiver that's not a grade A receiver, but it's better than what they've got. So the Raiders are, you know, trying to get back to relevancy. You know, my team, the Seattle Seahawks that won the Super Bowl, like the Riders with the Grey Cup, teams are rating their players that are free agents. They lost, 4 yesterday, including Kenneth Walker, although John Schneider, the GM, said that we weren't going to give Walker what he wanted. They put an offer on the table and Kansas City beat it. So there's that. Alec Pierce signing to the Colts, that's a really weird deal. And the Niners are going to take a gamble on Mike Evans. And Mike Evans, I think, has at least one more year in the tank. Does he have 3? I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Well, it's funny. I got thoughts on these NFL moves, and I do want to talk World Baseball Classic. But when you bring up the Seahawks and Kenneth Walker, and we are in the Canadian Hour, I am not averse to talking about the CFL. I'm seeing the coverage come out about Saskatchewan losing defender A.J. Allen or receiver Tommy Neal because Saskatchewan never made an offer to them. And I think it was with you, or it might have been Kevin the Medium last week. I said, when are we as media and fans going to realize it's not personal? And for that matter, the players too. I.e., I'm sure the Seahawks would have loved to have had Kenneth Walker, but how could you not? He was the MVP this year. I'm sure the Riders would have loved to have had Tommy Neal back. He looked like a very key part of that receiver group. But it goes on in every league. Like the NHL, same thing. Kelly McCrimmon had to hold a news conference in Vegas when they lost Jonathan Marchessault in free agency. He's like, look, we love the guy. It's not about that. Welcome to sports now.
It's a salary cap thing. You can't pay everybody what they deserve. And, you know, you see it with your favorite teams most of the time, especially if they're winning. Guys become free agents, and guys are going to get raises. And there are some teams that just say, you know what? If we're going to keep player A, we can't keep player B. You know, and you take a look at the Riders, and they decided they'd rather have Kean Schaefer-Baker than Tommy Neal. And if the Riders had kept Tommy Neal, people would be going, oh, why didn't you keep Kean Schaefer-Baker? What a mistake. Well, again, you can't keep everybody. And I don't know why fans don't realize that, because it's not like the salary cap just came in this year.
No, I know. And media, too. And before we move on to baseball, I'll come back on the NFL stuff later. But I'm living in this world now, and I would love for you to come visit me. You have threatened to do that. You better be seriously thinking about it. And I'll introduce you to a lot of my friends in the college and high school football games, because you see I'm around that. And they're all talking about loyalty. Should I leave this school because this school is going to pay me more money, but this coach I liked? And I'm like, oh, you don't understand. You're just young. There's no loyalty. You 30, 40 years ago, 20 years ago? Sure. Yeah, maybe. But not anymore.
You know what loyalty is nowadays, Rod?
I don't even know.
About a 6 or 7 year contract.
Oh, which don't exist, really, largely.
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back on all of this. 902-518-3033, by the way, is the text line. It's for Western Dodge. Dodge days are on, by the way, at Western Dodge. Go check them out. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in. He says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. I think the tampering window in the NFL is working much smoother than the CFL. I'd like to see the CFL have only 2 days of the tampering window than 7. Sure. That's up to them. Point 3, because I really want to get into this. Team USA held on for a 5-3 win over Mexico behind a stellar start from Paul Skeens and home runs from Aaron Judge and Roman Anthony, improving to 3-0 ahead of tonight's game versus 2-0 Italy. 1-1 Canada playing Puerto Rico today. Mitch, please tell me you tuned in some of that USA-Mexico game last night from Houston. It was theater. It was fall
Aaron
classic
Judge put it the
feel.
best after the game.
What did he say?
He said, this is playoff baseball in March. And
did you watch it?
He was absolutely right.
Oh my God.
That place last night, and had Mexico gotten, in the 9th, the guy opened up with the double, and they were down 2. If they tie that game up, that place would have gone crazy in Houston. I couldn't believe that the U.S. in Houston was sort of almost the visiting team.
They were.
Yeah.
They were the visiting team. And if you've been to Houston, Texas, or Texas overall, you would understand why Mexico would be the home team there. All of it was great. And here's the other thing. This isn't going to replace the All-Star game. MLB does it. They have an All-Star game, and they have this. Hockey has morphed their All-Star game into this, right, with 4 nations face-off.
Yep.
But last night, did you see Randy Arozarena came to the plate? Cal Raleigh, his regular season teammate.
But you know what? As somebody said, and I saw this, Randy Arozarena has pine tar in his hand. And the last thing you want to do if you're a catcher is shake his hand, if you know what I mean. So I think Randy Arozarena was trying to play a little bit of mind games there.
Let me just stop
it
for those
Cal
that...
Raleigh and Randy Arozarena, this isn't going to affect them when they get back to the Mariners.
No. Well, what it told, I never heard the pine tar thing, but for those that weren't watching, Randy Arozarena comes to the plate for Mexico, and he goes to fist pound or shake the hand of the catcher, Cal Raleigh, who's there for Team USA, and he didn't even flinch. I looked at it as, we're not here for a meet and greet. We're here to win a ball game. That's kind of how I took it. I don't know about the pine tar thing, but Mitch, the drama and those towering home run, a typical Aaron Judge home run. It was theater, man. And I'm just saying this more than any, people tuning it, because I'm sitting here surfing the channels last night going, oh, what am I going to watch? Oh, this looks good. I didn't specifically tune in expecting that.
And I put this up on my Twitter account last night. Major League Baseball has a ton of tremendous young shortstops playing the game. There might not be any better than Bobby Witt Jr., who last night did it at the plate and had 2 outstanding defensive plays. Although the one that got a lot of publicity, let's remember, folks, that he threw out Alejandro Kirk by 2 steps. And there are a lot of guys out there, beer league softball players, that, Alejandro Kirk's their spirit animal. Alejandro Kirk's not winning any 100-meter dashes anytime soon, if you know what I mean.
No, but he's a big part of the Mexico team. And
he is. And he's a big part of the Blue Jays. So,
huge. And he, I would ask you who's the greatest Blue Jays catcher of all time, but they're not your team. So we'll move on. But again, it's Canada versus Puerto Rico tonight. I don't know what channels they're on. I'm just saying. Yes. Who's, by the way, from Detroit. I thought he was Canadian all these years. Did you know that?
Did you really? Yeah,
he just coached Team Canada for 100 years, played for the Blue Jays. For whatever reason, I just thought he was Canadian, and he was on this show. It was when he was coming to the Red Sox dinner. We had him on. I'm like, I thought you were Canadian. And he laughed. He's like, everybody thinks that. I'm basically Canadian, he says, which was funny. Oh, Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, says the same thing, Ernie Witt. Okay, duh. I was talking to a buddy of mine from Yellowgrass this morning. Jeff Watson. He's a card collector, as it turns out. He says, what's your favorite card from your era? Because I said, I haven't been into it since I was a kid, and I don't think you have either. I said, I can tell you right now, Gary Carter Expos. And he's like, I have one of those around here somewhere. What would be your favorite baseball card you had as a kid?
Ryan Sandberg.
Ooh, there's a good one. Jeff from Toronto writes, and he says, yeah, he's Canadian. No, he's not. Look it up. Scott writes in, he says, I don't know how this came up, but he goes, Prime does a good job with Monday night hockey, but it's a pain in the butt if you don't have any easy access. Topic for another, it's a good one, but not a topic for today. Scruffy, the poll question today, bringing it back to hockey for a second. What is the biggest story in the National Hockey League this season? And the options are Sabres rise, Jets fall, the Olympics, or other. What are you voting?
In hockey?
NHL.
Well, then we take the Olympics out of that equation because the Olympics
NHLers played.
The NHL.
NHLers played.
It has to be Buffalo. It has to be
Well, that's
Buffalo.
what's leading the poll. The Olympics
and
are
if it's
still
not
the
Buffalo,
NHL's
then
play.
it'd be the fall of the Leafs. But I think a lot of people expected that.
I didn't even put that in the poll. That's not the Leafs falling is news.
Well, I think everybody thought that the Leafs were, with Mitch Marner leaving, I think people thought the Leafs were going to fall, but not this bad.
Let's not start a holy war. John in Winnipeg, John Ohm says, Jets fall. Jenna, scrambling to her keyboard in Southern California, writes in and says, Sabres rise. Oh, I hit on a hot button topic here. Okay, well, I tend to do that. I can smell a hot button topic, Mitch, like a fart in the car. And
there you go.
People have some strong opinions on this.
Why you drive a Jeep?
Oh, that reminds me. I'm going tonight to Sunrise. The Detroit Red Wings are here. And I bought my neighbor Fish's car. I never told you this story. And I've been taking it's a sedan. I almost fell asleep driving to Sunrise the first time I took it. It's so smooth. I'm like, why have I not been driving a sedan? I said 30 years ago, I will never have a sedan. That's living in Canada. They suck in the winter, right? Here, they're amazing. And I pull into the parking lot at the Sunrise. Every time I go, somebody says, where's the Jeep? Not you guys too. Reminds me of Big Bird. But everybody loves my Jeep. Thing? Big Bird. It's been sold twice since I had it. Okay. It's a long. Bruce Shapansky, an auctioneer from Tisdale, bought it from me, and then he sold it. I don't know where it is now. That thing was antique. When I was driving around with John Lynch in that thing, I don't think people realized how much of a jewel of an era that was. Okay, we'll be back in a moment. We'll continue this discussion. Scruffy's with me. We're live across Canada and 33 states on the Game Plus television network, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ radio. And get your comments in, 902-518-3033. We will be right back after this brief timeout.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edge-of-your-seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikasi's Developments Limited.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
We do the junior hockey report every day for the Mad Greek. The Western Hockey League's Moose Jaw Warriors have tonight off, but they'll be watching the scoreboard. The Warriors are 1 point behind Red Deer for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Rebels are in action tonight, hosting the Wenatchee Wild. The Warriors play Wednesday night in Swift Current. They host the Pats in a matinee on Sunday. Great times to get down to the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw. Experience authentic Greek flavors right in Moose Jaw at the Mad Greek Eatery. It's good. Open until 11 p.m. Okay, Scruffy is with me. I'm going to save the NBA and the college hoops till later when Scruffy adjourns because we're into some fun.
Well, I'll just say this. The NBA here tonight, finals preview.
Who is it?
Boston, San Antonio.
Okay, gotcha. Not Raptors, Rockets? What the hell do I know? Oh, my God.
Yeah, okay.
God bless you for having the cranium to absorb all that. All I can think about is the Detroit Red Wings at the Florida Panthers tonight. That's really all I'm thinking about. Tony in
the Detroit Red
City
Wings need to pick up their game a little bit, or else they're going to be on the outside looking in.
Tony from the Bridge City writes, and he says, "Good morning, gang. Best Blue Jays catcher of all time is Ernie Whitt, but keep in mind Pat Borders was the 1992 World Series MVP as well." Pat Borders was the greatest Blue Jays catcher of all time, and it's not close. You guys are voting for Ernie Whitt because he's lovable. There's no doubt. But winning matters. Winning matters. I want to go back on two things, Mitch. Number one, you didn't ask, but I'm going to morph this into the Toronto versus Miami thing. Like with Pat Maroon, basically, was he saying the media in Toronto is to blame for the issues the team has? Is that the summation of what he was saying, Pat Maroon?
I don't know if it was that or if it's just the fact that the Leafs are under the microscope more than any other team in the NHL. And that no matter what they do, they get picked apart. And I would think that Pat Maroon, having played in Edmonton, would see that maybe it's just as bad there. And I think it's probably bad in Calgary and Vancouver too.
Toronto's next level. And I would have never really thought that. But I had the great pleasure of getting to know Tim Hunter in all that time that I was spending in Calgary. And Tim coached with the Leafs and he played for the Flames. So he's got some pretty good experience on this, and he just it's nuts in Toronto. It's nuts. Like I understand that, but I also don't totally buy it because if the media was that big of a problem, then the Yankees would never win a World Series, or the Riders would have never won a Grey Cup. Like it causes a problem, but I don't think it's the reason. And flip that around, like the fanaticism and insanity around NHL teams in Canada is like nothing I've ever seen anywhere. And I've lived here long enough. But I want to say this about the Dolphins. You know, that's the number one team of everybody here. That wouldn't surprise you, largely. With Malik Willis being signed, what was your, before I tell you how it's going over here, what did you think because he's going to be the number one. He's the man in Miami. What did you think when you saw that yesterday?
Well, there's not a lot of high profile marquee quarterbacks out there that are going to free agency. And I think a lot of people going into free agency thought that Malik Willis would probably end up in Miami because he's got a connection with the coach and general manager who were both in Green Bay last year. Does Malik Willis make them better? I guess we'll find out. You know, there are people that asked, does Sam Darnold really make the Seattle Seahawks better when he signed with them 1 year ago today? Well, yeah, he did. Now, am I going to sit here and say that Malik Willis is going to take the Miami Dolphins to the Super Bowl and he's going to be the Super Bowl MVP? No. But it's what type of team are you going to build around Malik Willis? And I know this, if Devin Achane stays healthy, that team is going to be something with the run option because Devin Achane's a very good running back. And, you know, they've still got Waddle, but they've got to fill a lot of holes.
And they know that. You talked about how much the Raiders have to spend. The Dolphins got a lot, too, by getting rid of Tua, although a lot of it's still going to count to the cap. Tyreek.
See, that's a team I don't know what they're doing is Atlanta. Like, what are you doing? You had potential, and now, like, really?
You're just assuming these teams know what they're doing. It's like if you're going to bring in a washed-up quarterback, you might as well kept Kirk Cousins. What are you going and signing Tua for?
Right?
But anyways,
exactly.
The reason I want to bring this up is with Malik Willis, what the guys were talking about this morning on the radio was that the new GM and the coach of the Dolphins, which Jeff Hafley's the head coach, I can't remember the GM's name, but they both came from Green Bay. So they're saying nobody knows Malik Willis better than these two guys.
Correct.
Because they had him the last two. But we didn't watch every Packer game. We didn't know. And it's funny because I'm sitting there going, oh, right. And then somebody posted a video. I guess Malik Willis was filmed without his knowledge of helping a homeless person. Did you see this? Like either giving them money or giving them food. Did you see it? And he didn't know he was being filmed.
No, he was giving them his some clothing.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Outside Lambeau Field.
Okay, well, he didn't know he's being filmed, right? And so that whole thing is this is what Malik Willis does when he doesn't know people are watching. He's this kind of a good Samaritan. And I'm like, so this is making its rounds. Everybody here is retweeting it here in South Florida. We're getting a great guy. And I'm just going, you're not going to care if he doesn't throw touchdowns and win games. Right. And the sad thing is, by the way, I kind of get it. Here, they compare everybody to Marino. Every quarterback that comes through and every coach to Don Shula. And I get it because I compare every coach with the Dallas Cowboys to Jimmy Johnson and every quarterback to Troy Aikman. And I wonder, Mitch, if that's fair. I don't think it's fair, but that's the way we are as fans.
I think it is and I think it isn't. But I don't know what your Miami audience is for the first hour of this show. But if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, the best you can hope for this year and maybe the next couple of years is for this team to finish third in the division. Because you're not beating the Buffalo Bills and you're not beating the New England Patriots. Unless Josh Allen or Drake May get hurt. It's as simple as that. Like, you're stuck in a rut. And you're now hoping that Malik Willis will get you up to that New England Buffalo stratosphere. But it's not happening anytime soon. And if the Jets pass you, then you got a big problem.
Well, and it's funny, too, by the way, that they talk about Stephen Ross here like he is a player, like he's the owner of the Dolphins. People talk about him all the time. And on the radio today, they were like, Stephen Ross will not settle for another rebuild. And I'm like, oh, my God, you guys. The owners don't get to dictate that. Well, they do, but they shouldn't. But by the way, back to your Sam Darnold thing. He didn't just get a ring. I'll leave you with this. He's left the legacy of the guy that won it he's the first quarterback, as you know, on his fifth team to win a Super Bowl. He didn't just get a ring in the Super Bowl. He's made history. Everybody's always going to go, well, remember Sam Darnold? Sort of like 2011.
He's the James Reimer of the NFL.
Yeah. Well, when the BC Lions started like 0-5 or whatever, and they go and sign Tad Cornegay and Arlen Bruce, and all of a sudden they go and win the Grey Cup, people are going to bring that up for 100 years.
Yep.
Talk about living in infamy, which is pretty cool for Sam Darnold, and also Tad Cornegay and Arlen Bruce, who I might add are regular viewers of this program. Okay, you've got 1 minute, Mitch. The last word is yours. What are you going to say?
Interested to see what happens in Denver tonight when the Oilers take on the Avalanche. Like I told you yesterday, I don't think Edmonton's problems are done. I think we're going to see a lot of goals scored in Colorado tonight, maybe about a 7-4 game. I said to you just a minute ago, I think the Detroit Red Wings need to beat Florida because that team is grasping to keep their head above water. And Montreal's right behind them. And I think Montreal's going to beat Toronto tonight. Other than that, as I told you, NBA preview, finals preview tonight. And I'm interested to see what your college hoops guy has to say because I want to know how far he's got Michigan going because I think Michigan ends up playing Florida in the Final Four.
Well, TK Wins, our college hoops betting expert, coming up in hour 2. my lynchism. Aren't you a negative Nelson? You're an expert. You should be a photographer because you're an expert in negatives.
Ask your guy how far Houston's going to get.
Okay. Okay, I will. All right, Frenzy, I will. I'm going to ask him everything. Take care of yourself.
See you later.
We'll be right back on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right. I'm going to remind you, please, to sign up for the Rod Squad newsletter. It's becoming very popular. Newsletters are all the rage now, don't you know? And it's free. It's brought to you by Suds Regina, Suds full-service car wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. You never know what you're going to find in there. People say they really love the random thoughts and the news oddities. Okay, Scruffy's adjourned. It's just you and me the rest of the way this hour. And TK wins, my good buddy, coming up in hour two. He'll be very happy to know how excited everybody is to have him on. He hosts a betting show here in the same podcast studio as where we do the Cats and Bolts podcast. And I said to the staff, I said, which one of those jabronis from that Set the Edge podcast, should I have on my show? They said, oh, TK, get TK. He's the best guy. He knows his stuff. So TK Wins is coming up in hour 2 to preview March Madness. By the way, Tony in Cochrane, Alberta writes in regarding NFL free agency. He says NFL teams have spent over $2.3 billion in total contracts during the opening wave of free agency, which is nuts. But the USA has spent $4 to $5 billion on munitions in Iran in the last 10 days. Okay. 902-518-3033 is a text. I was a bit of a fart in church, wasn't it? We're supposed to be talking sports here. David in Winnipeg, David number 2 writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, just looking at the Winnipeg Jets' remaining schedule, I am usually an optimistic guy until all hope is gone. It's time to wave the white flag. The Jets have 3 games against Colorado remaining. No chance. Here's the thing. Oh, man. The Jets knew this a long time ago. I heard in the press box at the Stadium Series game, which was February 2nd, I think, that the Jets were going to be sellers because Chevy knew they weren't going to make it. So he knew over a month ago. They're done. And by the way, here's the latest. I'm already sick of it. I've seen one comment on it, and I'm sick of it already. Mentioned the Florida Panthers home to Detroit Red Wings tonight, and I'll be there. All of a sudden, the tanking issues coming up. Brad Marchand, we found out, will not only be not playing tonight, but he's gone for weeks. He's going to have, I think they said he's going to have surgery or something serious with Brad Marchand. He's been playing hurt, trying to get the team into the playoffs. They're going to rest a lot of guys the rest of the way. Why would you bring Alexander Barkov, the captain, back now? He's missed all year. What's the point? And they're not mathematically eliminated now. So now this year insiders are hinting that the Panthers are going to be tanking to get into a lottery position to get Gavin McKenna. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Because they're going to be calling up guys from the minors. They're going to be rested, playing the backup. Why wouldn't you? That's not tanking, but it looks like it. No, so everybody's going to be commenting on that. I'm already tired of it. Again, 902-518-3033. It is a lot of fun when it's just you and me. Isn't it? I think that it is. We got the regular commenters here, but can we get some? Let's get some new ones. You're watching on YouTube. You're watching on Game Plus TV. 902-518-3033. I got to give a shout out to my guy Bob in Medicine Hat. He says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. Bob from the Gas City, back watching your show today. How about those Montreal Canadiens? Have a great day, gentlemen. Thank you, Bob. We are having a great day, and I'm glad that you're part of it. It is an exciting slate in the NHL tonight. I'm going to move the picks to next hour. I'm not going to do the picks here today, but Leafs-Habs is always exciting. How bad is it going to be at Centre Bell tonight? Funny how the Habs really didn't do anything at all, but why would they? They got a great culture. Oh, they're a tremendous young hockey team. You all know that. They're going to be in the playoffs. That's exciting. Let me do the sports update. Then we'll get back to you people. Brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. The Toronto Raptors are back in NBA play tonight as they take on the Rockets in Houston. It's the first of back-to-back road games for the Raptors, who are 19-11 away from Scotiabank Arena this season. The Rockets will be a tough test to keep their road success going as they are 21-8 at home. A record-tying performance by Canada's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Hamilton product tied Wilt Chamberlain's record for consecutive 20-point games last night, scoring 35 to lead the Oklahoma City Thunder past the Denver Nuggets 129-126. SGA is his nickname. Sounds like a grocery store. SGA added a career-high 15 assists in reaching the 20-point mark for the 126th straight game, equaling Wilt's streak from 1961 to 1963. A tough challenge for Canada at the World Baseball Classic. Canada takes on unbeaten Puerto Rico in San Juan today. The Canadians are 1-1 so far, while Puerto Rico boasts a 3-0 record. in MLB spring training today. The Jays take on Atlanta. And we've already talked about the NFL enough. It's in my sports update, but I'm pulling it out. That's the sports update brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Collectors, listen up. Hockey cards, autographs, and fan memorabilia, all at Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't wait. Shop ultimatefanzone.ca. I'm trying to find a way to go with the flow here in this ever-changing, perilous trade of media. I've said a few times, 95% of our viewers, if not more, are watching after the fact, not live. And I'm just of a generation where, to me, and I get that I'm surrounded in the podcast craze, and one of my favorite channels on the radio is NHL radio, but they air a lot of recorded programs and podcasts, and I'm like, this is as useless to me as reading yesterday's newspaper. I can't stand it. But I'm understanding that that's just you, Rod. I guess young people don't care that we're talking about games today, and hearing it a week later, they don't care. It doesn't bother them. I don't get it. Brent in Wellington, Florida writes in and he says, what do you think of the new look Miami Packers, LOL? Which, by the way, the football people here were calling the Miami Dolphins the Miami Packers before they even signed Malik Willis. Brent, you obviously just joined us late because we've spent quite a bit of time on Malik Willis being signed by the Dolphins. And initially, this is the importance, by the way, of the media, just so you know. A lot of the fans around here were like, Malik Willis, really? And the video of him being videoed outside Lambeau Field that he didn't know he was being videoed offering clothing to a homeless person is really getting shared a lot around here because they're helping the PR move, because Malik Willis ain't exactly Dan Marino. Okay? And anyways, as I say, the local media was on the radio saying, well, the guys running the Packers or the Dolphins now all came from the Packers. The coach, the GM, as Brent is saying, they know Malik Willis better than anybody. They've given him big money. They say he's the guy. All of a sudden, the fans are like, oh, yeah, okay, all right, we'll give him this guy a chance. All because they were told to by the media. Just so you know, the power of the media. I've been in it a day or two. David number 1 from Winnipeg writes it, because there's 3 Davids in Winnipeg that write in. David number 1 says, come on, David number 2. The Jets are 5 points out of a wild card spot. Have a little faith. God bless your pea-picking little heart. I just said Chevy's already waved the white flag by trading away Shen and Stanley. They know. To be honest, here in Florida, I'm sitting looking at the Panthers. What are they, Brent? 8-10 points out of a playoff spot? If you look at the math, and of course in Saskatchewan we called it rider math, it's the same mentality. Oh, mathematically, and if this went this way and the stars align, we could get in. You're not getting in, okay? Rider math never works. That type of math never works. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Willis is a great player. Sure, we're going to find out. We came out of Liberty, right? I watched him here in the Boca Bowl. He had a tremendous college career, fizzled out in Tennessee, but everybody does. That's the one thing people need to forget. And, people do forget. Tennessee is where careers go to die in the NFL. And got some starts in Green Bay. There's not the biggest sample size on him, but you know what? People are being asked to trust the people in charge. Where have we heard that before? I'll probably bring this up. Oh, man, I just looked at my notes. There's so much stuff here that I haven't even got to. I guess we'll carry that over to next hour, and I will tell you that the text line is open, 902-518-3033. Darren in Salt Lake City, thank you for showing up. Haven't seen you in a while, brah. He says, I don't know if it's me or if the Blackhawks just have Utah's number. I've watched them twice, and the Mammoth are 0-2. Maybe it's you. Tell me about it. I went only 2 for 5 in my picks last night, including Chicago upsetting Utah. I don't get it. But we must air in Illinois or Chicago. I don't even know where we're airing anymore. But I've got Blackhawks fans and staff writing me with things that I say. They don't like it. I don't care. Not everybody's going to like you. But they're on board with the Blackhawks moves. You kind of got to be. What choice do you have? TK Wins joining us next hour, and he can talk about more than just college hoops, but as he has told me, mano a mano, that is his thing, college hoops. But he can talk NHL, NFL. TK Wins, great guys coming up next hour. Yeah, it's going to be big fun. Get the text coming in, 902-518-3033. The YouTube chat rocking as well, and we'll be right back on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Hold on to your hats. Consider that a warning. A disclaimer, as they say in this TV world, because it's going to be a wild, fun, and fast RP Show as we welcome viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. Howdy again to the viewers on Game Plus TV across Canada and 33 states, and the streaming audience as well. I am your affable host. Today, affable, I think, Rod Pedersen, and the guests, the viewers are all very excited about today's guests, brought to you by Prairie Panels. Check out what they're all about at prairiepanels.ca, a Saskatchewan-based company. TK Wins is coming up in the next segment. He is not just a college hoop sporting expert. You can go check out his Instagram profile right now as we're waiting for TK to join us next. 30-plus years as a top-ranked betting analyst. And where the hell is it here? Jason from Red Deer writes in, he goes, I assume, oh, hang on. Jason in Red Deer writes in, he goes, obviously TK does win if he makes a living out of it. All these guys on this podcast that they do are doing very well. Driving G-Wagons, living in Parkland. TK himself lives walking distance from American Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. So just so you know, he's coming up next, and he's become a very good friend of mine to the degree that I didn't plan on talking March Madness much at all on this show, but you guys sucked me into it, and I'm here for it. What the hell? But that's not where we're opening with the Quick Six show topics today. For Uniglobe Carefree Travel, and see our buddy Neil Chark over there, Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show. We're starting with the National Hockey League, a busy night with 13 games. I'm not going to do the picks now, but there's some juicy ones. The Toronto Maple Leafs visit the Montreal Canadiens, looking to snap a 7-game losing streak. They won't. In other action, the Calgary Flames visit the New York Rangers. Colorado Avalanche host the Edmonton Oilers. And the Winnipeg Jets are home to the Anaheim Ducks. The Vegas Golden Knights, and I forgot to flip jerseys. I will next segment. Whoops. Vegas Golden Knights, as we are across Nevada on Silver State Sports, visit the Dallas Stars in a battle of Western Conference Lords tonight. Couple things. I don't really want to shout out the viewers, but I'm going to. We had the discussion yesterday about the best goaltender tandems in the NHL currently. And Tony and Cochran, you said it's the Flames. I can't go along with that. And they blew up last night at Washington. I can't wait to get to the picks. But there's an interesting thing that happened Monday night. It was a rather beige night in the National Hockey League, but there is I'm dying now to put up my Golden Knights jersey. Shame on me for forgetting to in the break, but James Reimer stopped all 16 shots he faced, backstopping the visiting Ottawa Senators to a 2-0 NHL victory over the Vancouver Canucks Monday night. What's notable about that? James Reimer became just the third goalie in NHL history to record a shutout with a 7th franchise. He's recorded shutouts with 7 different teams. James Reimer. Last time I was with him, it was a God event at the 2018 Memorial Cup. Chico Resch was there and Laurie Boschman. Such a great time. James is a big God guy, just like me. And anyways, I'm not going to leave you in suspense like I did with the viewers last hour. The other 2 goalies are Sean Burke, the current goaltending coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, and Cam Talbot, who I don't even know who he's playing for anymore. I think Detroit. But anyways, only 3 goalies in NHL history have done that, recorded a shutout with 7 different teams. That's just, hey, goalie nerd here, obviously, but James Reimer joined that club last night along with Sean Burke and Cam Talbot. How about that? I was 2 of 5 on picks last night. That sucked, clearly. TK Wins would not do that. And I should admit, he might even be watching right now. We do the Cats and Bolts podcast every Wednesday, pretty much every week right after they do their podcast on sports betting. And he always wants to talk about the Panthers. And he's been saying all year, he's like, take the over. I don't bet. So, just with my life, I make the picks here for obviously Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn, come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. I just make the picks, and it's fun. Gives you a little more interest watching. You all know that. You probably all bet. But I'm too cheap. Making the picks is fun enough for me. But the juiciest thing in the National Hockey League right now is not on the ice. Patrick Maroon, who won Stanley Cups with what? The Blues, the Lightning, and the Oilers. Patrick Maroon was on TSN Overdrive in Toronto yesterday. And I think he didn't mean to start the firestorm, which it doesn't take much to start this firestorm, but it's a lot easier when the Leafs are really bad like they are now. But he said the pressure on the Leafs is unlike any other team in the NHL. He said 25 members of the media in your room every day is a pain in the butt. I didn't even see the clip. I just saw the quotes of it. And it caused the funny part, like this isn't new. And Patrick Maroon is a great guy. I'm like, it was just hockey guys talking hockey. We hear that every day. But Rachel Krishak, who I've seen her make tweets before. I didn't follow her, but I am now. She writes for ESPN. I think she freelances for ESPN, but the public doesn't know the difference. Out of New York. And she said hockey players are baby soft when it comes to the media. And if you can't handle answering questions for 5 minutes, soccer players would laugh at you in Europe. That's what's touched off the whole firestorm on this. And listen, the viewers in Canada, God knows, get enough talk about the Leafs. We don't need to spend more time here. I'll say it again until I'm proved otherwise or somebody shoves a sock down my throat. You can blame the media for your losses when you start giving the media credit for your wins. I've been around this game a little bit, and I've never seen that happen. So I'm not buying it, that's why the Leafs suck. Sorry. On the flip side, the Leafs were just through here, and I did talk to their media. Oh, it's such a circus when they come to town. I wouldn't even in the rink yet. And the parking lot attendants, Mike and Scott, sorry to out you guys, but they're like, oh, yeah, the Leafs are here, and all their media is here. I don't care. But it's a big deal when the Leafs come to town. I get all that. And I don't know, is it becoming a problem? Tony's hanging with us. A man after my own heart. He says it was poor play by the Flames kids in their own zone last night, not Devin Cooley's play for the whooping. Jeff in Toronto, please do not inject logic into the discussion. That's got no place, logic here. No, which actually is a great segue to the next point, which I'll get to right away. But Jeff says, I grew up in Portugal. The media is brutal on the top clubs. Porto Beneficia. Shows you how much I follow soccer. I don't know. I'm not even saying this Rachel is wrong. She's like, you can't deal with the media for 5 minutes without crying? I never looked at it that way. I don't really have a dog in the fight. All I will say is, after talking to the Leaf media last week, they were dejected and beaten. Why am I laughing? I don't take pleasure out of other people's misfortune. Only losers do that. But I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, you guys get to travel with the number one team in the National Hockey League, and you're saying how crappy it is. I don't feel sorry for you, but it is what it is. Life's about choices. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by our friends at Western Dodge. Moose Jaw's go-to for Ram trucks and Jeep adventures. You guessed it, Western Dodge. Stop in today. I'm not sure what that segue was. Something to do with the NFL, because that's where we're going here in the Quick Six Show Topics and Warm-Up, which is brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel deliver expert planning, seamless service, and trusted experience every step of the way. National Football League, correct me if I'm wrong, and you live viewers help me out, but I don't see any huge deals today like we saw on the opening day on Monday. It's day 2 today. Another reason why I love listening to Mike Florio on NBC Sports Radio. He just says it the way I see it. He goes, this is confusing and certainly very hectic. They say the business. I got an email from the NFL on the weekend that said, here's what to look for this week. Legal tampering period opens Monday. Business year opens Wednesday. Free agency opens 4 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. And I kind of could get that, but all of a sudden these deals are being signed and the releases and all the rest. So anyways, the biggest deals to come out of Monday. Tua out here in Miami. Malik Willis in, which is all the big talk. For the Raiders, honestly, we got to give them... Now, are they just throwing money at their problems? Probably. But they got the best offensive lineman, best center on the market, Tyler Linderbaum, highest paid center of all time. Because it's not going to matter if you draft Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall if he's running for his life. We all watch the Raiders games. Last hour, Scruffy mentioned how Rashad Genty had a tough rookie season with the Raiders last year. Everybody had a tough season with the Raiders last year. It began on offense, and as Chris Sims said today with Florio, can't name one defensive player since Crosby left either. So they got a lot of money to spend. At least they're spending it right finally. And of all the moves, future Hall of Famer Mike Evans taking his talents to San Francisco, 3 years, $60.4 million, the end of an era in Tampa Bay, and believe me, they're all crying about that over there. But not much today. Yeah, nobody's really writing in, and that's cool with it. I'm cool with it. But just on the Malik Willis thing, because probably for the Vegas viewers, they're tired of hearing about the Raiders, and in Canada, we're all tired of hearing about the Leafs. So I'll just tell you what they're saying about the Dolphins. Malik Willis, I seen him play live with Liberty. He's had a very good college career. Didn't do anything with the Titans, barely played in Green Bay, but the guys running the Dolphins now, the coach and the general manager, came from Green Bay and have watched him every single day for 2 years. They've given him a lot of money, and it's not just about his physical talents. It's obviously about his maturity, his personality, and his ability to lead a team. And to be honest, the Dolphins fans are like, okay. Initially, they were poo-pooing the deal, and they've been talked out of it by the media, who basically has helped the Dolphins sell Malik Willis as the next one. But again, the video's been shared by all the media that I know of Malik Willis being filmed onto his, he didn't know he's being filmed outside Lambeau Field in Green Bay, offering clothing and helping out a homeless person. And they're all loving that here. I'm like, that will last until he throws his first interception. 1:11 Eastern. I'll point it out. None of the viewers have yet. 1:11 Eastern. If you're going to overthink positive. Give that a try. And envision a positive ending. What do you got to lose? 902-518-3033. I'm not sure why, but it was something that I had written down that I haven't gotten to yet. Yeah, this is not something I will ask TK Wins when he joins us next. By the way, if you have college hoops questions, NBA, NFL for TK Wins, he's joining us next on our guest segment for Prairie Panels. That would be the time to get them in. Thank you, Jason and Red Deer, for stepping up to the plate, for observing 111 with me, for those that celebrate. But I've worked a long time in getting into the Florida hockey market coming from Canada, and now I'm here, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Because there's a fight here right now. You know, we talked about yesterday, oh, so-and-so is the dirtiest team in the league, blah, blah, whatever. Who cares? I can tell you, Tampa Bay, that game up in Buffalo Sunday night, 8-7, the Sabres won it, a brawl fest. They're calling it the greatest hockey game in the history of that arena, KeyBank Center in Buffalo. I don't know when it opened, but it was new when I was there for the NHL draft in 99, so close to 30 years. That's the best hockey game ever played in that rink. And now people are saying, oh, Tampa Bay is the dirtiest team in the league. Oh, okay, well, it was Florida. So the Stanley Cup Final has been played in the state of Florida for the last 6 years. And people are oscillating between the Lightning and the Panthers for who's the dirtiest team. Do you not see the correlation there? I was talking to a hockey guy this morning. Let's call him Jeff, because that's his name. And he goes, it's not rocket science. Are you not putting 2 and 2 together? Play a rough style, don't get pushed around, and that's how you win in the National Hockey League. That's a big part of how you win in the National Hockey League. And anyways, when I talk about being part of the Florida hockey culture, I have said to the fans, to the Panthers fans, listen, the Lightning are the OGs. They're the original gangsters. They got 3 Stanley Cups. The Panthers got 2. So they're back to being big brother right now. Panthers are probably going to miss the playoffs, and the Panthers fans are like, oh, bubble cups count? COVID cups? Yes, they do. Yes, they count. Sorry to say. We're not going to take away Tampa Bay's cup won in the bubble in Edmonton because it was in a... What the hell's wrong with you? But that's just fans being fans. How are we doing on time, producer Corey? You getting our guy TK lined up? Yes, 11:11 is a thing as well. Look it up. We're going to be taking a break here shortly. So if I disappear into the abyss, you'll know why. Consider yourself warned. Another Jeff writes in. He says, well, Sabres hockey the last 15 years has been brutal. Hey, enjoy it for what it is now. You're on top of the world, which is a really good time to bring up the poll question today before we break. What's the biggest story in the NHL this year? The Sabres rise, the Jets fall, the Olympics, or something else? And winning the poll is the Sabres.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back. It's the RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV. By the way, we're brought to you in part by Vegas.com. Today is the final day to get $50 off your next ticket purchase with a promo code DAYLIGHT50. Top shows like Carrot Top, The Empire Strikes Back, Burlesque Parody, and Michael Jackson, won by Cirque du Soleil. Get your tickets today at Vegas.com. Again, the promo code is DAYLIGHT50. Today's the last day to use it. Okay, TK wins. TK, our viewers are very excited. Not as excited as me to have you on the RP Show for the first time, but they're excited to talk hoops with you. How you doing, my brother?
Man, doing great, man. Got up early this morning. I've got a lot of college basketball going today, all through the next few weeks. It's March Madness, like they say. You know, wall-to-wall basketball day and night for the next few weeks here, so I'm ready.
Well, I've never really told you, so you know, we're airing all across Canada on Game Plus TV and 33 states and regionally in Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. And I see that you got the Vegas sign over your shoulder there. When's the last time you were in Sin City, TK?
I was out there a few months back. We went out there, a couple of my buddies that went out there. I actually went to a Vegas Knights game, had a good time out there. You know, every time I go out there, I usually I'm not a big hockey guy, but when I go out there, I like watching the Vegas Knights out there. And I think I heard you say before, I'm actually might walk over to the Panther game here tonight. They got that game going here tonight against Detroit. Unless you want to pick me up in that sedan of yours. I don't know if you're taking the Jeep or the sedan. I was listening to you guys a little bit earlier, so I can't see you in the sedan. I always see you in the Jeep.
I know. Everybody always said, where's the Jeep? TK, you let me know if you need a lift. And at the very least, let me know if you're at the game. I'd love to hook up with you. And listen, you always say you don't follow the NHL, but you're all over it. You get it. But with March Madness, I'm a newbie, okay? And I said, I'm not going to talk much about it on the show. And the viewers are like, come on. It's the biggest thing right now. So for the newbies like me, can you explain? We don't have the field set yet. Just talk about where we are and where we're going in the next few days and months.
Yeah, well, you know, for the next few days, there's a couple teams already come in, but you know, there's the tournament time here from now to Sunday to Selection Sunday. So you got some matchups going here today. I mean, you got the Big 12 playing today, the ACC playing today, Conference USA. They're all getting ready to rumble and get into this tournament selection on Sunday. I mean, of course, the Dukes are going to be there, but the little schools, we might have some other little schools coming in as well. Those are a little bit harder to handicap when you haven't followed some of these little schools throughout the season. They're going to be playing teams against Duke, probably huge underdogs. I mean, Duke's probably the best team out there in college basketball right now with Michigan and Arizona. But coming up Selection Sunday, we'll know a little bit more.
Yeah, well, listen, I've been following it casually all year. I follow a little bit of everything. Like Duke's been number one in the polls all year, have they not?
Yeah, Duke's been up there. I mean, they're the top team right now to beat right now in college basketball. I mean, I follow them all year long. They're winning these games by 30 plus. I mean, winning and covering the spread too with some big numbers. Will that continue through the tournament time? We'll find out here in the next couple of weeks here. Will they rest players this week? Get ready for the tournament. We'll have to see what goes on like that as well. But, you know, everything's going to break down here through Sunday. That's what we're looking for. I got to watch some of these matchups.
All right. Well, I want the viewers to participate in this, and here we go. Tony writes in. He says, all four number one seeds made the Final Four last year, only the second time ever. I like my Zags as probably a number 3 seed to get back there this year. Anything can happen. Go Zags. Well, maybe we should explain that. If people are going to be in a bracket, they're going to throw money down. Last year went the way everybody thought it would, and they're blaming NIL. Can you just talk about that? And there weren't a lot of upsets last year is what I'm saying.
No, you got the NIL. It's changed basketball. It could be for the good and it could be for the bad. I mean, you got these top schools, you know, the SEC, the Big 12, they're the powerhouses in college basketball. But that guy just left a comment too. I'm actually throwing a couple dollars on Gonzaga right now. They're 40-1. I'll probably throw a few bucks on it. If you bet $100, you make some good money on that. Pick up 4,000 for Gonzaga winning the tournament. I picked them a little bit earlier in the year as well. They faded off a little bit. I mean, they lost to, I think, St. Mary's and a couple other teams out there. But Gonzaga, they could have an outside shot. They play well in the tournament every year. You know, so I was talking with Scott and him on the show a few weeks ago. You know, Gonzaga could be an outsider, just like he said on there. So I'll be rooting for the Gonzaga Bulldogs as well in that tournament come next week.
Before we go any further, tell our viewers about your podcast and the boys. They might want to check it out. They'll enjoy it. It's all of this talk.
Yeah, we go crazy on there. Got me, Teddy, and Scotty. You know, Scotty. We get into it on the show every Wednesday. We come on right before you. You know, we talk a little stuff. You know, football. You know, there's a lot more to talk about. But during the football, basketball, you know, we only got the games because the point spreads only come out the same day or the night before. But in football, we put out a mean show out there. Me, Scotty. I think you've heard us argue on there many a times. I mean, it's called Get the Edge. It's every Wednesday at 2:00. You know, it's on YouTube. You can check it out. Get the Edge Sports Podcast every Wednesday at 2:00 up there in beautiful Boca.
Well, yeah, and by the way, TK Wins, follow him on Instagram because you've got picks. Right now, you're college basketball heavy, but all the other leagues too, man. It's just a thrill to know you and follow your stuff, and I appreciate your support of me. So why I have you here, like Brent from Wellington, Florida writes in, and this is a great question or comment. He goes, guys like you and I, Rod, are usually the ones that pick the best bracket and win some cash. I don't, but my former co-host Moose won a Philadelphia Enterprise Sports bracket. He knows nothing about college basketball. What is the secret to going far in your bracket, TK, especially this year? Would you tell people?
I'll tell you the secret. The secret's luck, man. Anything can happen in these brackets. So you speaking of that, you had somebody going on there. We did a pool last year. We do it at our local place where we hang out at. We had about 500 people in there, and some lady won it. She creamed everybody in the contest. She doesn't even watch basketball, and she says, "You're supposed to be the expert. You're the professional. Hey, your brackets get busted, you go down." But I use power ratings. I mean, I use power ratings, so I'm looking for teams, edges over, that I look that would be favored. But some of these brackets, man, they're tough when you got a 9 playing a 12. How they go like that? I mean, we get those tight matchups. The team that should be favorite and win the game goes down to tubes. I guess they call them the Cinderella stories. Will there be one this year? We'll see what happens if there's a Cinderella story like last year. There really was no Cinderella story. But brackets are tough, man. If you had to ask me what the thing is, I'd say edges, power ratings, and stuff like that. But a lot of luck goes involved in winning those pools and the bracket challenges. That's why no one ever gets a perfect bracket. I don't think I've ever seen a perfect bracket on ESPN, CBS Sports. I don't think anyone's ever hit a perfect bracket. Maybe this year.
No, and yet, right, but and yet somebody's got to win, right? So it's who's got the most correct picks. I follow it enough. Brent says I go with the best looking uniforms or cool looking mascot. Here's the thing. I don't go in it at all. I've won 2 big hockey pools, but as you know, TK, that's my sport. I can bet with some knowledge on that if I want to. But it was your co-host Teddy that told me that college basketball for you guys is the best, easiest money of all the leagues.
Yeah, the easiest in all the leagues in sports, I would say college basketball and MLB baseball. MLB baseball, you got money lines, just got to win the game. College basketball, these numbers come out overnight. I mean, you can beat a early line. Say, example, a team comes up and you're liking the team to win. The line comes out at -2, and you liking the thing they're going to win by 10 plus in this game, 8, 9, 10 plus in this game. The line's only 2. You got a little edge on that game, and the lines can move very quick in college basketball. As soon as the Circa in Las Vegas is one of the first that puts up the lines, in the offshore places as well. But these lines can move quick. I mean, especially in college basketball totals. All the sharp guys that bet college basketball, they're moving on totals. That's why if you know anything about betting on sports here in the lines, these lines can move 4 or 5 points, within minutes in college basketball. And plus, you got a lot more games be played throughout the week. College basketball, you got little schools playing big schools. And like you said, that NIL's had a lot of difference in this. So you got some powerhouse teams in the SEC, Big 12 playing some of these little schools. You got to take advantage of these things. If you think the line is soft, you got to take advantage of it.
That's the point that I want people to realize. We don't talk about this a lot because it's so nerdy or deep level, but the reason NIL's ruined college basketball is the best, biggest schools are paying for the best players, so there's no hidden gem players on those smaller schools, which is what led to upsets in the past, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that NIL, to me, I'm not a big fan of NIL. Let these guys get paid, I agree, but you got some guys out there making millions and millions of dollars compared to some guys making 20, 30,000 or whatever. Got to make it like a level playing field. I mean, distribute the money out there or do something. That's a sour topic when we get on our podcast, as well as the NIL. When I go with Teddy and Scott, we go battle back on that. And, sports being the stuff, point shaving and stuff that's been going on lately in the college basketball. I'm sure you follow the news on that with the betting, like USC and stuff like that. Scott gets a little upset when I talk about the games being taken care of, but it happens out there, man. It's been coming out lately with the legalization of gambling over the last few years. A lot of stuff's been coming out there in the sports betting world.
Honestly, that's why I stay away from it entirely, because it's very, very dangerous for a guy like me. But that's how you've made a living, which is actually a question I wanted to ask you, because a lot of our viewers are like, these guys make a living at this? Make a living. They make a great living. And in your Instagram bio, you said you're a top-ranked sports bettor 30-plus years. Explain your history in this trade, please.
30 years. Well, I started back in 1989. Actually, Scott was, I met Scott. That's how I met Scott back in the day, in the betting world out there. I met him. We do our little show up there in Boca, like you talked about. But, I haven't know. You don't win every game. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to lose every game. But you just got to be consistent in picking winners. I mean, you can't chase. There's a lot of factors go. There's a lot of guys out there, like the average Joe Schmo, that bet on the weekend. They're betting NFL football. They're betting 4, 5, 6 games. And throwing parlays in. I'm strictly a straight bettor here. I bet flat games here today. I'm actually got a couple games I play in here. I played one last night, Santa Clara. Once we're done here, I got to go head to Hard Rock and cash my ticket and put it in and get ready for the hockey here tonight. But I play very limited on my plays. I mean, I'm not putting out 40, 50 plays like some of these guys out there. You got to manage your bankroll as well, too. I mean, if you got the guy comes in, he's a newbie playing, you got $2,000 bankroll. You're not betting $200-300 a game. You maybe bet 2-3% of your bankroll. You got to manage that. You can't chase around. That's the only way you're going to last in this. I mean, I learned my lesson in the beginning. I was one of those guys, firing away. I lose a 1 o'clock game. I doubled up on the 4. I lose a 4. I double up to 8. You can't do that stuff like that. You got to manage your money. If you lose for the day, take it like a man and wait for the next day, because tomorrow's another day. But you got to be consistent. That's the whole thing. You got to be hitting about 56% plus.
Our viewers should know, actually, I reference you a lot. I just haven't mentioned you by name. Like, you were the guy that told me 58% wins. I've mentioned that on the show a lot. That's just overall in your picks, right? Explain that. 58% wins.
Yeah, 50. Well, you got the juice factor of baseball. Baseball is a little bit different. You're betting money line, so you could have underdogs. But if you're not hitting at least 56% plus, you're not a profitable sports bettor out there. I mean, you got to, like I just said, the whole key is manage your money. Scotty, Teddy will all say the same thing. You got to manage your money. If you don't manage your money and you're not consistent, you might as well call it quits. So, that's what we do out here. We do sell our picks online as well. But we're betting the games with our money, man. We're putting good money on these games. We're not betting $5, $10. We're betting thousands of dollars on these games. So you got to manage your money and be consistent. That's the whole key.
Follow him on Instagram at TK Wins. We got TK for a few more minutes here. I think the big question is, and this might be an unfair one, I'm only asking because I don't know any better. Is there a Butler this year? Is there a Florida Gulf Coast? Who do you think will be that magical team?
The magical team, like I said before we started, for me, it might be the Purdue Boilermakers or Gonzaga Bulldogs. Those are the ones out there. But I tell you, honest truth, I don't see anybody beating Duke. I really don't. I think Duke's just going to roll through this tournament. Unless a Michigan, Arizona, or the Gators come from the outside. Duke is just a powerhouse. I don't know if you follow Boozer. I mean, that guy's just a beast for the Duke. I mean, they're blowing teams out, and they're going to continue to run right through the whole tournament. I think Duke. I think they're sitting at 3-1 favorites right now to win the national championship, and I think that's some respect there. And I don't think they can be beat. I think Duke is the strongest team out there. Maybe an outsider as a favorite. The Gators or Arizona, and but I don't see anybody beating Duke out there. That's my honest opinion out there. If you're going to throw money down on a long shot, I'd do Purdue or Gonzaga. But the favorite looks pretty sharp in this one with Duke, and probably clean sweep right through the Final Four on that April 6th night.
Funnest thing I think that we do is the interaction with the viewers. Jason writes in, he says, I love how TK's Instagram profile calls himself a sports consultant. LOL. Tony writes in, he says, my second favorite team was the UNLV Runnin' Rebels, the Tarkanian era, Tark the Shark. UNLV got a shot at this. Are they in? I haven't followed.
I think the UNLV did have to win the Western Conference, whatever the conference is. I haven't really followed UNLV this year at all because they haven't been playing good numbers out there. So I didn't look out to wait for Sunday on the selection. But UNLV used to be a great team, just like you said back in the day, man. They had one of the best coaches out there. They were a powerhouse, but not as much anymore. Not as much anymore.
Yeah, I believe they were hosting the conference championship game in T-Mobile Arena the other day. I saw that on the Silver State Sports Instagram. There's a million things running in and out of our heads. I got to ask you this. We haven't even talked about the women's side. Caitlin Clark really took it to a new level in terms of popularity, and I'm sure betting as well. How much are you into the women's side of this March Madness?
I'm not even going to watch it, to be honest with you. I don't really watch the women's basketball out there. I mean, I might watch the final game, but I'm not big into the WNBA, and I'm not big into the women's basketball. I mean, a lot of guys might bet on it, but I think there's a lot of low limits on those games, so we don't even look at those games at all. I mean, I watch it for the fun of it. I mean, just like I'm watching this World Baseball Classic. I've been betting on the World Baseball Classic. Watched a great game last night, USA against Mexico. And I think we got your Canada's playing tonight. Rico. I think they're going firing away against Puerto Rico. Big underdogs tonight, right. Canada.
We're always underdogs in baseball. And that baseball game last night, I was talking about it last hour with Scruffy. Can you believe the drama and the excitement in a dang March baseball game? Wasn't that fun to watch?
Yeah, I'll be at the game tomorrow night. Dominican Republic, they're playing Venezuela tomorrow night. It's going to be a huge matchup down there. I mean, Mexico, they were fighting the fans in the stands last night. And what's his name? The player went for the fist pump to kind of catch her. He just ignored him and took his bat and swung away. But, they take this guy serious, man, especially the Dominican players, the Spanish players, Mexico and stuff. They take this stuff serious, man. They're out there to win. This DR team is going to be pretty tough to beat. Yeah, they'll probably go fire away against the USA. I don't know if the brackets match up that way, but USA and the Dominican Republic, and even Japan in the outside, it looks like a good play. But I bet on the Dominican Republic 5-1 before the season started, before the matchup started last week. But I like the DR to win it all, or at least make it to the finals against a sharp USA team. USA could beat Dominican Republic, could beat them.
Vladdy is the star of the DR team, and you're right, that pool is playing here in Miami at Lone Depot Park. The guy's telling me UNLV finished 8th in the Mountain West Conference, no chance this year. So there you go. We've no running Rebels in March Madness. By the way, one viewer, Jason, wants to know the story on your Merino jersey over your shoulder. He said he's drooling over it. Any significance to that for you, TK?
Yeah, I was with Dan Marino about a week and a half ago at the Pier 66 at Emerald, had a charity event down there. Got to sit and talk to Dan. Actually, a friend of mine is his trainer out there, so he trains him. And I got the jersey signed. That's actually his Pro Bowl jersey. He wore in the Pro Bowl, autograph signed from him. I got a bunch of football signed from him as well from Dan Marino. He's a South Florida boy too, out in Weston area, so. We have a lot of runs in here with them all the time. So, like I said, I met him the other night. If I could throw a picture up on here right now, I could show you. Me and my buddy George were hanging with Marino, and the Marino's son, which is always with him. He was there as well. Dan Marino's son was hanging out too at this event at Emerald Lagasse. Had a big fishing tournament down at Pier 66. We got to attend here a couple weeks ago. Yeah, but that's the story behind the Marino jersey. It's a Pro Bowl jersey signed. We got a picture of him signing it, so it's authentic there. Dan Marino, the man out there, man. He's one of the best in the business.
He is the man. Text me that photo if you don't mind. And TK, I will see you tonight. And will I see you tomorrow? You guys going tomorrow with Get the Edge?
We'll be up at the studio tomorrow. We'll be up there at 2:00. And on this hockey game here tonight, who are you picking here tonight in this hockey game? It's like
Detroit.
a pick 'em right now.
Take Detroit.
I always tell you to take I always tell you take the over, but I think tonight's the under. The way the Panthers have been playing, I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. The over-under is 5.5. Probably tonight to go under the total tonight. Probably a low-scoring game here tonight.
Bob wants to put on a show. Write it down. All right, TK. TK wins. We're going to run for a break. Thanks for coming on, brother. One of my closest friends down here. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV and Silver State Sports.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
When you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers, led by Tony Plater with 35 years of communication and leadership expertise. He specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. Visit TonyPlater.com. I love that you all love my friends like TK. Tony writes in from Cochrane, Alberta. He says, great hoops guest. Thanks, RP. Thank you for watching and being engaged. And we can take requests on occasion. March Madness is on. I'm like, oh, we got to get TK on. And he was great. Hope to see him tonight. I didn't know that he rolled with that hoity-toity of a crowd here in South Miami. Like, damn the man. Jason writes in, he says, Marino, the best quarterback to never win the Super Bowl. So sad. He'll get over it, I'm sure. I always get a kick out of my story of going to the Dolphins game with Dan Marino. He was on the sidelines. I was in section 131, but we were in the stadium at the same time, going to a game with Dan Marino. Sports update for the Ultimate Fan Zone. Canadian Shea Gilgeous-Alexander drilled a three-pointer with 2.7 seconds to go to cap a frantic final minute on a night he matched Wilt Chamberlain's NBA record for consecutive 20-point games, and the Oklahoma City Thunder edged the visiting Denver Nuggets 129-126 SGA finished with 35 points and a career-high 15 assists. Aaron Judge hit a towering 2-run homer, and Roman Anthony added a 3-run blast in a big third inning to lead the USA to a 5-3 win over Mexico in the World Baseball Classic in Houston Monday night. U.S. improved to 3-0 and will meet 2-0 Italy tonight. Canada 1-1 taking on Puerto Rico tonight. Are we getting you excited in this at all? I tell you what, I don't know how Scruffy does it, our Monday and Tuesday co-host for Hour 1, but he is able to follow all these sports at an elite level. Why he's such a great sportscaster. But for me, I really have to narrow it down to NHL, NFL, CFL, and then baseball when I'm being paid for it. But as I've said, I am following everything casually. I knew that Duke was the number 1 team all year in college basketball. I'm not sure how I knew, but I'm watching the highlights of these conference championship games where teams are qualifying for the March Madness field, and they're just having so much fun. How could we not get into that? You're right, Jeff, the Stamps fan. I misspoke. He says, I bet Dan Marino will never get over it. You're right. I misspoke. He's not getting over it. No, he's in the Hall of Fame. I think life is good for Dan Marino on most days. But I'm sure it keeps him up at night that he never won a Super Bowl. And that's too bad. Same as Marcel Dionne in hockey. And Aaron Judge has never won a World Series. People forget that. Viewer John writes in. He says, Rod, in your opinion, what sports league should come to Vegas next? They got MLB coming, and the NBA is considering Vegas. So what's next? How about slow down? They're building the ballpark at the site of the Trop. The NBA will be there eventually. What more do you need? They now have the NLL. They have the WNBA. What else is there? I've long said I would love to see a Grey Cup played in Las Vegas. Got soundly trounced for that, like everything that I say with regards to the CFL. Wayne writes in, he says, hey, Rod, that's great analysis you gave about going back to Marino and Shula. All I'm saying is with Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins and they got a new head coach, Jeff Hafley, here, it don't matter what they do unless they win, because everybody compares the quarterback to Marino, and everybody compares the coach to Don Shula. That's what they do here. And me as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I compare every quarterback of the Cowboys to Troy Aikman, and they all don't measure up. From Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, and that's probably a me problem, but that's how I am. I measure every coach to Jimmy Johnson or Tom Landry, the GOAT. It's probably not fair. That's where I have a little bit of fandom left when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and that's why I'm not really moving off of that, because I don't have to, and you can't make me. NHL picks when we come back for our friends at Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. Any last comments, get them in. Western Dodge text line 902-518-3033, and we will be right back on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your effort, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime, proudly presented by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes. They're in Calgary, and if you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes there. Hey, Jason, did you go in there? You said you were going to go to Calgary. State of the art. Said you were going to go to Calgary and stop in Overtime Hockey Lanes. Yeah, you better be a man of your word. Whether you're prepping for the big game or just want to have fun, Overtime Hockey Lanes has got you covered. Now specialized shooting training with professional tutors. Check them out. See Randy and Michelle and tell them the RP Show sent you. Hey, Arlen Bruce checks in. Former Kansas City Chiefs receiver, two-time Grey Cup champion. He says, hey, RP, fun show as always with all the toonies the NFL is giving out. My three sons that are playing in his JUCO and IFL, one of them all shall experience that NFL life one day. Kobe, Aiden, and Arlen the fourth. I hope so, too. You've done a great job encouraging them, I'll tell you that. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events. Right. Where you been, Nelson? Haven't heard from you in ages. Talking about what what league should go to Vegas next. He says, Vegas MLS? I don't know. I got to wave the white flag on some things. And for me, it's soccer. We've talked about that. I don't want to denigrate the sport. I'm sure it's great. I just can't. I gave it a chance during the Copa America Cup last year or 2 years ago. The game was awful. Guys were flopping all over the place. You all remember that. I'm like, I'm not watching this ever again. And the soccer people were like, oh, that wasn't a good example. I don't care. You got one shot, one opportunity. Thank you, Eminem. He sang about it. There's a song about it. You got one shot to impress me, soccer. You failed. Bye. It's a very competitive time. Picks. We haven't done those yet. This shouldn't be hard. Shouldn't take long. 13 games in the National Hockey League tonight. San Jose at Buffalo. Go Sabres. The story of the year in the NHL is the Buffalo Sabres. Calgary at the New York Rangers. Got to go Rangers. They both played last night. Rangers will get it. LA Kings at Boston. Kings still sucking post-coaching change. I'll go with the Bruins, both fighting for playoff spots. Toronto at Montreal. The Leafs will lose their 8th in a row. Write it down. Pittsburgh at Carolina. Canes. Detroit at Florida. Red Wings. Pains me to say it, but as we learned from TK and various other guests and Jesse Granger yesterday from The Athletic, we're all about speaking our truth here. And I think Detroit will win tonight. Columbus at Tampa Bay. Go Bolts. They'll win. Islanders at the Blues. Definite Isles dub. There you go, Joe Lazzato. Vegas at Dallas. It's the game of the night, baby. I think Dallas. Sorry. Utah at Minnesota. That's a toughie. Let's get wild. We got Minnesota to win that one. Anaheim at Winnipeg. The Ducks are leading the Pacific. Said no one ever, but they are. I almost put them in the poll as the best story of the year. I will take the Ducks to win tonight. I will say this. Well, I had those comments potentially controversial earlier this week about the Winnipeg Jets. That hockey guy that I called this morning, or he called me, not that it matters. He goes, "You're right." I'm like, "Thank you." I get that a lot. Edmonton at Colorado tonight. I don't even need to make that pick. Scruffy did last hour. Avs. Nashville at Seattle. I'll go with the Kraken. So it was TK was the guy that told me 56% pays. That was TK. So you've all met my good friend TK. And I get a kick out of these folks writing in going, these guys make a living off sports betting? Yeah. It kind of blew my mind when I got here too. I mean, if you've watched the movie Two for the Money with Al Pacino and Matthew McConaughey, you kind of know guys have been doing it for a long time. Johnny Avello's been doing it for a long time. But you just met a guy, TK wins. That's his job. He'd been doing it for a long time. Thank you, Nelson. He says, got it. Rod isn't excited for the World Cup. LOL. No. I'm glad that that message got across. I mean, yeah, I'm getting excited for March Madness. I'm getting excited for the World Baseball Classic. The NFL just never does go away. And my number one love is hockey, of course. Producer Corey says his parents are from Britain and they don't give a rip about soccer. I feel like that's rare over there, Corey. That's probably why you're in Canada. I don't know. I don't know your story. Oh, by the way, and the other thing, this World Baseball Classic really has my attention. It would be number 2 to the NHL right now because that game last night was wild. And I wanted to tell this story just so you know. Mexico versus USA is always a really big deal. And the USA was the visitor in Houston last night. Team USA was the visiting team, basically based on the fans. You just don't get it. And that's fine because I didn't get it either. When I came in to do the USA Football National Championship, it was what the hell was it? It was the national championships, and then there was a Caribbean tournament that we did, and it was Mexico versus USA in the final. 8,000 people tuned in for a test that we did of the line on the USA Football's YouTube page that morning. 8,000 people tuned in for the test to watch the practice. 27,000 tuned in on YouTube to watch Mexico versus USA in flag football. And it was also televised on the Olympic Network, which has since gone tits up. But I'm just saying, Mexico versus USA is all I'm saying is a really big thing. It don't matter the sport. And it was a hell of a thing to watch on TV last night, World Baseball Classic. Anyways, I told you this would be a lot of fun today. No monkey business or stupid stuff like a lot of the other shows. And I appreciate you all for tagging along. The ageless Rod Black will be with us tomorrow to talk about his new book, and his son's playing for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. That'll be fun, too. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
That